Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and today I want to talk about bow grip. Bow grip is the most important thing as far as I'm concerned about shooting technique. It's how you hold the bow. Now, most beginners will grab the compound bow or the recurve bow and go like that. Now, the problem with this is you create torque. So you can either basically torque the bow that way or torque it that way, so it's going to whack your arm. Now, any torque you induce, especially with a compound, if you do that, and I'm exaggerating the problem, you can pull the string straight off the cams, called derailing. So any torque you apply to the riser, so any pressure you apply to the grip here, changes the spot it lands on the target. Now the big problem is with 90% let off bows today, so you're getting back there and you're holding 10 pounds, so it's very easy to apply pressure to this bow here and torque the bow. Now, as I said, torquing the bow can cause a derail, so it's the biggest problem I see. So the first thing I look at when a person shoots is how they're holding the bow. Now the way you should hold the bow. So this is your hand, this is the little point here, this is your pressure point. When you put the bow down, your knuckle should be at 45 degrees, and this is the point. Now I'm going to zoom up really close. Here I've got like a little callus, and I shoot compound and recurve, and that's the little spot there where it's sitting in my hand. Now the other point I look for, because when you grip your bow, what will happen, this is your lifeline just there. The lifeline will be over this side of the bow. So when people grip the bow, the lifeline will be over that side. What I'm looking for is the lifeline. I'm going to go back to my hand. The lifeline is this thing that runs around here. I'm looking for this line for a right-handed shooter to be on this side of the grip. So on the left-hand side of the grip. So my knuckles are going to be like that. Now this is not as comfortable as that. It's not, right? But you create torque. And if you do that or do that, and I'm exaggerating the problem, a little bit of that, the arrow is going to shoot in a different spot every time and you run a risk of derailing. So with this system, the bow is sitting like this. And you can see the bow is going to move wherever it wants to move. And it's going to move to wherever you're locking it into your face. So if I lock it into my face, and this is free flowing on that position, this bow will always shoot straight. So the first thing I look at is the knuckle position of the hand. Now, a lot of times I don't shoot with a bow sling. And I don't shoot with a bow sling because I relax these fingers here. So I don't shoot like this. Right? Now, a lot of archers do shoot like this. Some tuck their fingers under here. Now, the reason they tuck their fingers under here is to stop them gripping the bow, and it puts them at a natural 45 degree angle. I don't do that because I find it creates tension in my arm here. And for me, what I found worked was just keeping these fingers, so they're just like no pressure. Like they just, you can flick them and there's nothing there. So when I shoot, it kind of just sits there and my fingers are just kind of sitting there. Now with a recurve, it's exactly the same thing, 45 degrees. You can see where it's sitting, the lifeline's on this side here of the bow. Exactly the same. Now the recurve grip will be more comfortable to get the 45 degree angle. The compound grip, compound grips are generally flat and boring. Now the reason this happened was, back years ago, compound grips used to look like a recurve grip. And then what people would do is they'd take the grips off to reduce torque. So they took the grips off to make this thinner to stop them torquing the bow. So the manufacturers said, well, everyone's taking the grips off, so we'll just build bows without the grips. Now since then, people have experimented with thick and thin grips. PSE went for wide for the last 2 years. Hoyt's a very, very narrow grip. It's more consistent, it's more important to have that same reference point on your hand. So it sits like that and then down like that. The thick versus thin grips, that's just personal preference. With a thinner grip, it's probably harsher on your hand at that point. With a thicker grip, it's, there's more surface area on your hand. So probably I'm going to say a little bit more comfortable. And then like PSE, experiment with that thickness. Some are wider and some are thinner. That's just up to you to experiment with. But the grip, got to be there. Fingers loose. Whether you tuck them under like so, that's up to you. But 45 degrees, Lifeline, that thing there on that side of the bow, you're in business. So I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. I hope that's helped you for part 2 of the form technique. Thank you.